You're listening to the Everyday Astrology Podcast. I'm Hilary Scott, your astrologer, and this is the forecast for the week of May 15th. This week in May is an incredibly busy week. We've got a lot happening. There's so many shifts and changes. I think you might be ready for it, though. Mercury has gone direct. It went direct on the 14th of May. And that will shift things into a forward motion situation. So you're not going to feel as snafu'd by everything or distracted or backward looking. I hope maybe you found something. Did you lose something and then you found it? I found a bracelet that I didn't know I was missing. And I also found a necklace that I have been wondering where it is for ages, for like over a year. So that's pretty awesome when that happens. It's like all so sudden and unexpected, but yet it's Mercury retrograde. So finding things is not unusual, be it things that you love or people, they kind of come back from the past. So Mercury going forward, and then we have Jupiter moving into Taurus. That's a very different energy than it being in Aries. And it's been in Aries for the last year. And it will be in Taurus for the next year as well. So it's a very different feeling. Like it's much calmer and more relaxed and willing to expand the good life. Expand the good things in life, things that make you feel happy, calm, content. You can enjoy natural things like gardening, lying in the lounger, wearing fabulous fabrics. Anything that's very calm and predictable is enjoyed in Taurus. So Jupiter there, it will be really just a much different energy than the Aries energy. But right after that Jupiter goes into Taurus, it will be squaring Pluto. And that's a juggernaut. Those are big energies not going in the same direction, very much at cross purposes. So if you've got anything that's triggered by this, you're going to feel it in one area. With Jupiter in Taurus, it's kind of like, let's just slow down. Let's relax. Maybe let's expand our relaxing and slowing down. And Pluto is in Aquarius thinking no. Now we've got AI and we've got chat things that can create art and writing, and things are moving so fast. We've got to keep moving. So there is this weird kind of juxtaposition of energies. You'll feel it. But also things get done when there's squares. So think of that. Things will get done. There's an agitation with Uranus in this energy too. So it could be very maybe you're moving right along, and then you suddenly feel Uranus is all about the suddenly feeling things. So you might just all of a sudden be shocked by your resistance to going forward, or maybe there's something within the system, some sort of bureaucracy, something that kind of keeps you blocked, or at least at cross purposes. Some sort of power struggle could occur. Pluto's often involved in power struggles. But then the energy shifts and we're heading towards the new moon on the 19th. And the day before, we've got a really lovely trine between Mercury and Saturn, which will help us with our thinking. Neptune and the Sun are in a lovely energy together as well. So there's sort of magic and lucky situations that will bless our identity. We'll be able to understand things in a very spiritual way, or there's some sort of shift in our perspective so we can bring in ease and grace and all the lovely things in life that are that make life worth it, that make life easy and interesting. Because sometimes life is just so hard, and if it goes on hard for too long, that's when we start having problems with depression and anxiety, and then we get used to sort of living in this stressed out. The way the world's created is a very stressful thing for us humans. I don't think we're meant to be going at that pace all the time. So if you kind of go at the wrong pace for too long and feel depressed and anxious, then that becomes a groove that you get used to until something like this comes along. And there's this very lovely, peaceful energy to show you that life is beautiful and life is magical, especially With Neptune, you might find that you have this like real appreciation for music and all the different instruments and the sounds in the music, or dancing or writing or making poetry. These sorts of beautiful, graceful things about life can come into focus and remind you that it really is worth living and life is really wonderful, and we're meant to be here to enjoy ourselves and to participate in creating. We're here to create. We're creators. So I hope you're getting some of that in, or at least getting in contact with the part of yourself that wants to do that. With the Mercury sextiling Saturn here, there's like a certain level of discipline and focus on bringing in the ease and the grace and the beautiful. So hopefully you're able to tap into that. Then on the 19th, we have a new moon, and it's a super duper fertile new moon. There's a very like fertile time for beginning things and planting seeds that you want to grow into wonderful, fruitful, lucrative things. Because with the Taurus new moon, money can be planted and grow on trees. So, if you have an idea or any kind of, especially like a creative idea that's original and unique to you, now is a really, really good time to launch that on the new moon. Make sure that you write down what you want to create, what you want to make happen in the world, because writing it down is like the first step to manifestation. It's already been, the first step to creating it. And especially on the new moons, it's a really good time to do that. There is a square to this new moon that from Saturn that can be like, it can be maybe a little depressing, or you might get in touch with just sort of like the limitations or the fear or those Saturnian things, the burden of it. Maybe you're all like gung-ho to start something new, but Saturn comes along to remind you, oh, but you got to do this and you got to do that and this. And you could feel the burden of that. But otherwise, this new moon is quite potent and creative. It's like plant those seeds. Pluto is there, but in a trine. So it helps us step into our power. We're not necessarily having our power taken from us or in a battle for power, but instead we're like stepping into our power, which we need to do to be who we are. We have to feel powerful and like we're in our own, we're in our own power. The next day after the new moon, so it's still very much like you're going to feel this energy still very strongly on the weekend. We have Saturn, or not Saturn, on the weekend on the 20th, we have an opposition between Mars and Pluto. That's like the Mars go energy is trying to do one thing, and the Plutonian energy is trying to do another thing, which is Mars is like, hey, like I want to do my own thing. It's Leo. I want to shine. I want to create. I want to be fabulous. And then Pluto in Aquarius is like, well, what about the community? And what about your obligations to the whole and to the society in general? So there could be a push-pull in the situation. And whenever there is an opposition, the best bet to handle that, even within our own birth charts, is to realize that we have to do this and that, not this or that. We need to integrate both sides. So just remember that, because there is especially if you have more of like an extreme personality or somebody who makes decisions quickly, you can want to pull in one direction or the other without integrating. And it's integrating that ourselves are trying to do. And we've got Mars moving into Leo that same day. So that's like a big shift again. Like coming out of Cancer, moving into Leo, it should help us have like a lot of courage and a belief in ourselves and a certainty. And just to Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun just is, and it shines, and just like a flower blooms and a bee buzzes. They're just doing it because they are. It's sort of effortless. There's no, okay, I gotta buzz or I gotta shine. There's just this natural ability to be yourself with this energy, which is really lucky, because that's when we are most happy, is when we're really, really being ourselves. And then Sunday, we have a trine between the sun and Pluto, and the sun moves into Gemini that same day. So besides a little shakeup with Neptune, with the moon that might make you feel sleepy and kind of unproductive, this powerful trine between the sun and Pluto, it's like you can transform. You are going to be all you decided to be. You can do it. There's this real, Pluto is transformative, and lots of like rising from the ashes energy comes from this complete and total transformations, like where somebody loses a bunch of weight, or, you know, I'm thinking like plastic surgery, but it's more less superficial than something like plastic surgery. It's like a real powerful change from within yourself. Can go on with this Sun trine Pluto energy. So it's a big week. As you can see, there is a lot going on. But even though there's a lot of change happening and we've got the new moon, you know, make sure you write it down and write down what you want to create. There's still this, like, it's difficult because there's so much change, but there's also this like lucky, buoyant energy helping us along as well. So it's not just all this like bing, bang, boom changing, which it might feel like on a lot of levels. Like things are happening fast now. But it's also a very supported, you have the strength and the power and the know-how and the ability and the clarity to be able to make all these changes that are coming at you right now. I hope that it's helpful to you in some way. It's always nice to it's like the astrological weather, I think, is just as important as the actual weather. And there is a whole branch of astrology that connects the planetary transits to the weather, which is super cool. And I just came across this in a book, and I've always sort of like wondered, because I noticed on days with tumultuous weather, there would be tumultuous aspects. So it was interesting to find this like kind of ancient way of looking at the transits and their control of the weather, which I thought was very interesting. Oh, and I have an announcement to make. We've added dates to Calling on Chiron, the hands-on horse play shop that we will be holding in Soyuz. Me with the astrology and my sister with her herd of healing horses. We are doing an incredible combo workshop with the horses there to hold the space and help transform and bring you in touch with your joy and your heart energy, and the astrology to kind of give you some in-depth insight into what might be blocking you, where your strengths are, where Chiron is in your chart, what your wounds to heal might be. So it's an interesting combo of energy, equine therapy, and astrology, but it is a potent, powerful, magical, wonderful one. So if you are interested, with new dates that we've added will be June 17th and the 24th. We're going to be doing the day from 10 to 4 p.m., which is a perfect time if you want to come out to Soyuz and get in touch with the beautiful desert of Canada. Now's your opportunity. So if you want to know more, let me know and I can give you some more information on that. Otherwise, a most magical new moon to you. Thank you so much for listening, and have a most blessed week with all kinds of happiness all around you.